I think most people would assume open relating is go out and date whoever we want and that there's no rules and no boundaries, etc. Still cheat in an open relationship, and because cheating is about secrecy, isn't it? It's about lies.
Yeah, we're working on trying to have a relationship that's our relationship, not our parents' relationship. I said on TikTok that I would teach the girls how to use sex toys. So his mum basically ran social services.
I'm Jonny and I am 46.
I am Saurora and I am 31. Growing up, it was just me and my mum, and she was a full-blown alcoholic, like functioning alcoholic, and couldn't admit it basically. And then she passed away 3 years ago, which was a massive shock. Absolutely horrendous because of the alcohol. It completely ruined her liver.
My childhood, again, single parent, largely. My dad was around my parents split when I was 5 because of their variously amassed childhood traumas of their own. Couldn't face having a conversation with me about it. So one day, and I came out and my dad just wasn't there, and nobody had anything to say about it. So I think I largely blamed myself for it for most of my childhood and adult life. My views on relationships were so wholly shaped by the complete and utter dysfunction of both my parents, both my grandparents. My only experience is that relationships just don't work, period. You know, there's no such thing as a happy marriage. Relationships are dysfunctional and don't work, and probably generally unloving and violent in some respect. Would be the thing that was imprinted on my brain throughout the whole of my childhood.
Yeah, so obviously my mum was with my dad, and yeah, also because she was single all my life, she brought me up telling me that all men are pretty horrendous. They're just gonna leave you, take all your money, cheat on you. Yeah, just to always be really independent, hyper vigilant. Everyone's out to get you. She never liked any of my partners. She always said, like, you need to find a man that's got his own businesses, that can protect and provide for you, and has his own car and has his own house, like very superficial things. And I tried to go on dates with those types of guys, and they were just so like empty and wet, basically. They just had no like substance to them. And so yeah, that's definitely shaped how I see relationships. But like, yeah, we're working on getting rid of those beliefs and programs and trying to have a relationship that's our relationship, not our parents' relationship.
We've got quite different, in terms of where we were before we met, quite different. Like, we were both in unhappy relationships prior to meeting, although I'd been single for probably over 6 years with regard to that. So it very much fell into a box ticking kind of exercise. It's like, well, what society puts upon us, like, well, at this age, you're supposed to do this, finish your education at this, start a business, get married, and by this time have children. So the next step is to get married. So we got engaged within probably the first year, and then had children in the second year. And then we were together probably for 10 years, the year after our children were born. And almost immediately I realized I'd made a mistake and I'd driven down a dead end. I called it that. It ended in a complete train wreck. Lots of infidelity happening. So that I started dating someone again and almost fell into the same patterns. And then when that stopped, it allowed me to look at myself, and I was like, okay, I need to do some really deep work. And so I did that for 6 years, basically. My motivation for joining Hinge and other dating apps, I still wanted to date. I didn't want to just drop off the face of the earth, but I was also aware that along with that, I was doing lots of deep shadow work and dating people, finding out what I wanted and who I was in that kind of space after being in a relationship so long. And I've been carried so much dysfunction through my life, and you see how different relationships work. And how they can grow and where they can go wrong, and having the kind of courage to step into something and step out of it if it wasn't right. Also really dealing with that kind of the rejection that comes with dating that I'd never really had to properly face, because I would just fall into relationships generally with people that I thought I could fix, because then in fixing those people, I could vicariously fix my parents' marriage, which is why it always ended up dysfunctional.
I was in a relationship before I met Jonny. I was with a guy who claimed to be a tantra practitioner. We were trying to do the open relationship thing, but it was horrendous. And he actually completely betrayed my boundaries one weekend, and I didn't find out until like 2 weeks after. Like, one of my friends messaged me and was like, I've just found his t-shirt in the bed that the girl was staying in. So then I asked him, and then loads of lies came, and says he's a tantra practitioner and he's here to like help women, calls them all divine and goddesses and all that jargon basically, which I fully like fell for. That's why I was in a relationship with him, because I was like, he'll look after me, he'll protect me, he'll do all the things that my mum wanted. So then from that was just horrendous basically. We tried to make it work. We got like open relationship coaches and mentors. However, for me, I just went on like a complete revenge sort of thing. I traveled Mexico, like playing with people, sleeping with people, trying to do it like ethically and consciously, but really I was just so hurt from what he'd done that I was just basically putting two fingers up to him and just doing whatever I wanted to whilst trying to be in a relationship with him. For the year after that, I wanted to move more into sex work. I retrained to be a tantric sexologist, which is similar to what he does, but more in the sex line of stuff. He also wouldn't admit that he is also a sex worker, even like in like different ways, and it just fell apart basically. He was changing his boundaries and his beliefs and saying that, oh, you can go and do this with some people, but you can't do it with others. But then I'm going to go and sleep with whoever I want to and do whatever I want with all these women, sort of thing. So because of that, I was on Hinge, which is really interesting because I've been, I think all the other dating apps I've been like banned on because of like how open I am. Me and my ex, whilst he was doing his retreats, I just got a message, because you can do like the little prompts things, can't you, on Hinge? And one of the prompts, I discussed nonviolent communication, and Jonny said that he knew about nonviolent communication, which a lot of people don't know about nonviolent communication. So the fact that he did, I was like, oh my God. And I looked at his profile and I was like, well, he's hot. Like, even if nothing comes of this, like I weren't even expecting anything. Like I might just, have some good fun with him. At least I've got a new friend. The one thing that did scare me though was like that he said that he had children. Like, one of my red flags was like, no children in any way, shape or form. And one of his red flags was not being with someone that's just been in a relationship.
Just because it's my own experience, the amount of work it takes to pull yourself out of a relationship and then get yourself to like an even keel and heal from it.
We matched, got chatting, and then our conversations were just crazy. We went on a first date, but at this point my partner is doing, at the time he's doing this retreat, but we had said like we're not going to speak for the whole of this retreat. So I was like, right, well, whilst he's doing this, I'm just going to go and meet Jonny. That week we just spent pretty much every day together.
We did every day.
Like non-stop talking, having a laugh, dancing, just having like a really, really beautiful time. And then the following week you went to France for 2 weeks, and then I had to go to this festival with my then partner and just try and slowly explain what had been going on. But again, because I was still so hurt by what he had done, I was still like, I don't really need to give you an explanation. Like, I can do whatever I want. Like, you completely betrayed me. It was so unhealthy and not conscious at all. And obviously I've learned from that. I had my mum in the background going like, see, I told you, all these men, they will ruin you. They will like betray you. They will lie to you. Even the good ones, like you found a good one. And he still did it. So from then I've now had in my head that like all men are going to leave me, including Jonny. Like, it was really weird. I was in my camper van once and I just said to myself, the fact that I had these strong beliefs that men are horrendous because of my mum, like I need to work with them to help heal myself as well as help these men as well. And then I just had to split up with my ex, which was really, really challenging. Because we thought that it was going to be me and my partner at the time, and then Jonny was going to be one of my partners, but it became apparent very quickly that wasn't going to work because we were so aligned, and me and my partner at the time just really weren't aligned. So whilst all this was going on, then everything happened with Johnny's mum because of my work.
In regards to us getting together, when my previous relationship was falling apart, we were watching a show and it was talking about polyamory and kind of unconventional relationship styles, and was like, oh, that's a thing. Because I was kind of feeling it. Part of the reason when I was going through the dating process was trying to work out with myself whether I really was polyamorous, whether that's what I wanted or whether I wanted something more mononormative. And in the end, I landed on the side that I wanted to be in an open poly relationship. So yeah, when we met, we did kind of just walk straight into it probably without enough conversation around it, figuring out about how boundaries work, and there's no blueprint for it. I mean, anyone who moves into that kind of polyamory or open relating space, because it's so unconventional, everyone's making their own rules up as they go along. I'd decided that after doing so much work and after having been so closeted about various things, I wanted to be seen primarily by my mother, because I've always had this notion that she's only really loved the idea she has of who she wants me to be rather than actually seeing who I am. And so I came out very unceremoniously, both for being queer, for being polyamorous, for being non-binary, also wanting to kind of explore sex work with Saurora. And so this all downloaded on my mother in quite a short space of time. It did a text message conversation about other things broadly about our relationship and a number of conversations. And so she kind of went into complete meltdown about it. It seemed, however, seem that she, even though she couldn't really cope with it, that we were moving towards a place. I'd suggested that we get a mediator or a family therapist and we try and work through some stuff, some old stuff and some new stuff. So I thought we were at least going to make an effort, even if it was just ceremonially, to try and build some bridges and make some, do some repairing. So that's where I thought we were. And Saura and I went to London for a weekend. On the way over to Soho to see the musical, I got a message from my mother telling me that my girls didn't feel safe at our house, that they didn't like Saurora, they didn't want us to be together. They didn't like that I wore makeup. They didn't like that. There's a laundry list of accusations, basically. And which completely threw me, because it just wasn't, the girls had met Saurora and everything that she'd been saying was just not my lived experience or our lived experience.
And I know that I've always been good with children, but like going away for the weekend with Johnny and his 2 children, I was, like so nervous. But we had like such a beautiful weekend. We had such a laugh. Like I was doing like the girls' hair and just getting them ready, and it was like I had like 2 little mates, you know what I mean? We were doing our makeup together and like it was so beautiful. And then just to get this message did not match the weekend we just had. And I think because the girls went for dinner with her one Sunday, and when they came back they were just different.
Yeah, what happened was we were going to go for Sunday lunch. They wanted to come with us. Now my mum was then just kind of saying, well, I want to see my grandchildren on Sunday. I'm like, well, we're going for lunch. She's like, well, I can't come now, kind of because of your new relationship. And so I was kind of like, well, that's your decision. You put that boundary up. You created that barrier, which is unnecessary. If you want to come for Sunday dinner, come for Sunday dinner. She refused. So she was like, well, can I see my grandchildren? So I then I spoke to the girls and I said, please, will you go and have lunch with your grandma? Because she hadn't seen you for a few weeks. And they were just sat, their energy was through the floor, sat waiting because they didn't want to go to have lunch with her. And knowing what mum was like, she's obviously picked up on that, and so she started to probe them and like, well, what's wrong? What's this? And obviously it was a very new situation for the girls to be away at my new partner's house. They'd never really met, they'd never seen me have a new proper partner before. I mean, I dated a couple of people that they'd met, but not in this context. So my mum's extrapolated this, and so they don't like Saurora. She's also said to them that because of Saurora's work, that her clients are all murderers, rapists, paedophiles, and that they're coming into our house while they're in bed, and they're queuing up down the street. So she could really kind of ratcheted up this jeopardy that there was, this relationship was putting them in. So yeah, equated all of Saurora's clients to deeply criminal activity, when in reality most of them are teachers, solicitors, which she's a solicitor as well. Ironically, my mum's a family solicitor, was for most of her career a family solicitor. And her big red line when she was dealing with this stuff was like, you don't weaponize children in a divorce case. And yet here she is weaponizing my children to try and get us to split up, because it all amounted to an ultimatum. It's you need to choose between your children or your new relationship. And so I was trying to arrange a conversation with them, and it very quickly became apparent that there was my mum and their mum kind of by proxy of my mum were putting barriers up, and they were like, well, you can't speak to them now because they're having a dinner, and you can't speak to them now because they need to get ready for school. So we got back to our room and we rang them, and they were really excited to speak to me. And then I basically said what had happened, and they said, we didn't say any of that. It's all lies. Because one of the things that she'd said was that one of my daughters had said that I'm not fit to be a father, and they were just like, none of this is true.
Which is obviously not, not true. Like, Jonny's the most incredible father. Like, I think most people should take a leaf out of his book. So from then, it is just been a battle this past year trying for us to stay together. Like, I was like, I don't need this stuff, basically. Like, I don't want children. The reason that it's all happening is because of my work and because the girls, like, I've got a house in Mexico. Like, I could have just left and gone to my house in Mexico, sort of thing. But obviously, like, I didn't want to lose this relationship. And Jonny didn't want to have to choose between his children and me, basically. So we just tried to be really conscious about it. Like, I spoke to the girls as well, and we just tried to stay together and get through it. But it has been horrendous. She like continued to do more awful things.
I ended up having to block her,
yeah. And then when spoke to her through emails and basically said, if you want to see the girls, you can see the girls on the weeks that they're with their mum. Like, we don't want you near the house or anything. But my anxiety like went through the roof. I needed to get cameras around the house just in case, like, if she came to the house. Jonny's always said, like, I'm not going to stop the girls from seeing you. It's their decision. Like, they're 12, nearly 13. Like, they can make their own decisions now. They kind of wanted to see her because they felt bad on her, but they were still heavily traumatized by what she's done. And they were just so confused because they had, like, their grandma and their mum saying one thing and then obviously us saying the other. And we knew that those two people were lying the whole time to try and get us to split up, basically. But we had to just kind of like wait and stick it out for the girls to realise how unsafe and abusive their grandma is.
Not done that. She thinks she's only acted in the best interest of the girls. I think, and thinks she's still convinced about that fact because she shows no insight into the damage that she's caused. I think it's quite clear that she's probably suffering from CPTSD, but the problem with that is that those symptoms very much manifest in narcissistic personality disorder symptoms and borderline personality disorder symptoms. I realised I removed that supply, so she needed to get it from somewhere else, and so she immediately flipped onto the girls, and she was texting them 3, 4, 5 times, sometimes 10 times a day, to paint you in the picture and to demonize you to herself as well, because she very much behaved like the other woman in the situation. She was so needy of my approval, I think. Probably as I was for her for most of my life. I think it was growing out of that it changed the dynamic of our relationship. So I think she needed you, and no hate her, she needed you to be a street corner hooker.
Yeah. But yeah, like, for me with my work with being, when I retrained after my mum died, I retrained to be a tantric sexologist to help people that have gone through what my mum went through. Because I was like, I just watched my mum kill herself slowly with alcohol. I don't want to watch anybody else do that. And that's to, like, obviously heal a part of me, to heal a part of her. So I retrained to do that. But that works beautifully with, like, traditional sex work, I guess. Most men that do, like, book girls is usually because they want to work through something. They might not even realize it yet, but they want to either work through a need or a desire. Or some of my clients, I don't even go near them sexually. They're like, I just need some help in regards to speaking to my partner because they won't listen to me. And so my work is just sort of like all over the place. Like, I'm literally helping people speak to their kids about, like, sexuality, sensuality. And that's one of the things with us, with the girls, we don't shy away from these hard conversations. Like, they're 13 now, like, what they're being exposed to at school, on, like, phones and what have you, is absolutely crazy. So we try and speak to them consciously and always say to them, like, if anything's going on, like, please come and speak to us. And I think that's another thing that your mum didn't like, that, like, they're children, they should stay as children. But yeah, they're going to school and being exposed to, like, God knows what videos. And so we've always like said to each other, like, we're not going to shy away from it. If they want to speak about it, they can. But it got to a point. So his mum basically rang social services because of a video that I put on TikTok. And apparently this video was that I said on TikTok that I would teach the girls how to use sex toys. We got a message and we had to speak to social services. And then we both had to explain like what I do, how conscious we are, the conversations that we have with the girls, but we don't push it onto the girls. And yeah, they got taken out of school, and his mum said to the girls, like, if you get taken out of school because of social services, that means you're never seeing your dad again. And so when they got taken out of school because of social services, they just absolutely broke down because they thought they were never going to see Jonny again. They're like, again, heavily traumatized by that. They can't understand why their mum or their grandma would ring social services to try and get them away from Jonny and me, because when they come to our house, we have like such a good laugh together. Like, I don't work when the girls are there. Like, when they come to us, we have like family time. And even though it has been challenging, like with Jonny having children, for me, it's also been really healing and really beautiful to be with the girls and have a good laugh. And they like are obsessed with dancing. I did dancing when I was younger, so I've been to the competitions and, you know, I absolutely loved it. I've taken them for like pamper days and makeup and hair, and like, because I've never had any siblings or anything. We had to speak to the woman from social services, explained everything about what I do. She was actually like, that's a really conscious way of like teaching the girls. The social services woman was like, I'm just going to close the case straight away. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, we don't need to have this conversation.
They were just like, these are the conversations that people should be having with their children. So rather than what my mum said would happen, they would be taken away from us, we were actually commended for the conversations we were having.
It's like, it's brought us all closer together, like with the girls, and we've had like really deep, like open conversations now.
Yeah, put them in a position probably sooner than they would otherwise, in terms of being able to enforce their own boundaries and understand that, you know, consent. We're asking you, Grandma, to not send us 4 messages a day, and you're not listening to that. So you're not respecting our boundaries. So we're going to put a boundary in now, and they've asked her to give them some space.
And now Jonny is in a relationship where he can be himself. He can wear makeup. He can wear skirts. He can have handbags. And I'm very like supportive of that. Like, it's been beautiful to like see him blossom, sort of thing. And so he's obviously in a relationship that he can express himself and feel safe in. And like, we go on nail dates and get our nails done together, and like go shopping together, and yeah, just have like a beautiful relationship, which is what we want to show the girls, that you can be in a beautiful relationship and you can talk about sex. It's okay for someone that would be like male presenting to wear a skirt or to have a handbag or what have you. It's okay to be gender fluid and just express yourself and play and wear colours. Like, when I first met him, all he wore was black. Like,
I'd spent a long time in black jeans and a black hoodie, and the hoodie always up, because I was just like
hiding.
It was like a morning.
Yeah.
Just hiding, completely hiding. Me being able to be as open as I am now is really kind of changed everything in terms of being, you know, it's a much broader conversation, but I've always been a firm believer that everything we're taught and everything we know as truth is a construct. It's a complete construct of human society. There are no rules except the ones we choose to follow or to believe. And I think for the next generation, I'm glad that the conversation is opening up increasingly. I think we've still got a lot of work to do, but you know, the whole conversation on gender, everything is made up. What it represents is a challenge to the status quo and a challenge to the power that the system is put in place. But now it's so normal for women to wear pants. But not long ago, only a handful of generations ago, it was illegal. It's all about what is normalized, and what I think most people would assume open relating is that we go out and date whoever we want, and that there's no rules and no boundaries, etc. But for us, we only date together. We only play together.
Yeah.
And that's where I suppose that's all it means, really.
Yeah.
And we just have very, very open conversations about what we want and what we want to explore, who we want to bring in, and that sometimes that will change to be no one, and sometimes that will.
You're not sure about what you are open to until it actually happens. Like, obviously there's some things that you've very much like, I can't accept that, or I'm not open to that, but then something might happen that you've not talked about, and then you're like, oh God, I didn't realize that affected me. I mean, one thing for me with an open relationship it means to have like the hard conversations. Like this type of relationship is not easy. You have to speak to your partner about everything, and I'm really struggling with that. And obviously Jonny wants me to speak to him more about stuff.
A really good analogy that the open relationship also relates to open conversation.
But you still need to have like the communication. Like even if you've got 20 partners, you still need to be able to talk to all of them and so they all know where they stand. Otherwise, it's not healthy at all, and it's not fair on them.
Yeah. One of the key things I think we spoke about right at the beginning was this idea of radical honesty.
Yeah.
And you can't open relate without it.
No.
I mean, you shouldn't do a relationship at all without radical honesty.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's ultimately what an open relationship means to us, I think.
Yeah.
And the detail will change, I think, over time. I think it also, for me, challenges these ideas that intimacy is limited only to sex, and also that sex equals love, or that sex equals ownership, or that sex equals relationships. And again, it's for me, it's something that's quite a construct, and I can get really deep into it, but I think it really stems from kind of this mononormative society that is built on a monotheistic kind of Abrahamic religions, in the way that kind of the Romans are demonized in the Bible because they were also quite fluid gender-wise. They were also very open sexually. They had, food and sex orgies and stuff like that. And the idea that we're only valid if and the other thing, I think we as a society think we practice monogamy. We don't practice monogamy because the majority of people practice monoamory, which is multiple partners, just one at a time. Monogamy is like that really old, deeply religious thing where there's no sex before marriage. You marry one person only, and that is it, and you sleep with one person. And so again, I think even that demonstrates that, a lot of society's beliefs are based on a religious construct that is also based in social control. For me, it's deeply challenging that as much as anything else, and that's why my kind of abandonment of the binary is as much challenging the status quo that is being forced upon us as much as it is wanting to, wear makeup. It's as much about a challenge. Still cheat in an open relationship, and because cheating is about secrecy, isn't it? It's about lies. We can be in an open relationship, and if I met somebody and dated them and slept with them and didn't tell Saurora, then that would still be cheating, even though we're in an open relationship. And some people use an open relationship for sure as cover to be shitty humans. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. There are still boundaries, and even within our open relationship, we have different boundaries to probably everyone else we've met in the swinging scene or whatever in their own open relationships. And some people only play together, some people only play separately, and everything in between. Some people practice kitchen table polyamory where all partners know each other and hang out together, and some people, it's like, I'm open to you doing it, I just don't want to know about it. We've had a conversation, we've agreed boundaries, and it is our jobs, our responsibility as people to show up in this relationship to respect and stay in those boundaries. And if we step outside of them, then that would be the same infidelity and the same cheating as in a normal mononormative relationship. Absolutely. My notions of marriage are again very constructed. For me, marriage is a really kind of outdated religious tradition that is ultimately based on the exchange of women as property.
Yeah, I think if we did, we would just do it as like a hand fasting ceremony, which is more like a sort of pagan style ceremony. But in this day and age, like people are just having their own versions of a marriage. I mean, I love throwing parties and gatherings, so I would just do it to celebrate our love, but we would still have like the open relationship style because we've both got like, again, needs and wants. Like I would love to, we would love to have like a female girlfriend, a trans girlfriend, you know what I mean?
With regard to doing sex work, I'd looked at it when I was 19. I had an interest in doing escort.
But it's also like creating content as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Not just
That's
how
also true. Yeah, sex work being a broader church than just in-person stuff. So it was kind of a bonus when I met Saurora. She was doing it. I was like, because on our first date, she was like, so this is what I do. And we're like, great, we'll do it together. So I wanted to explore this kind of side of me. And so I also could see how kind of important that is. And I really wish that we didn't live in a society where people couldn't or felt and feel that they're in a relationship where they can't have these conversations with the person they're sharing a life with, and therefore have to kind of either really suppress them or hide. And it's a really horrible place to be when you're hiding part of yourself. And so to be able to help people explore that and remove their own shame from it, to be able to stand in their own truth, working with people to help me kind of pull myself out of this shameful space and stand in my own truth.
So yeah, so now we do like sessions together, because there are a lot of people that want to live out like the threesome fantasy sort of thing.
A lot of people who want to explore their vi side, but are too frightened to, or feel like they'll be ostracized by their friends if they do.
Yeah.
And so they can't talk about it.
They come to us.
They come to us so they can at least have some time and some space where they don't feel like there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, exactly. I like teach people like how to be dominatrixes, and so like use Jonny as the submissive subject or what have you, just to be able to teach them to understand where to place their energy in their body so that they don't hurt the other person. Talk about consent, boundaries, communication, aftercare.
Jealousy exists.
Because we're sort of,
it's okay to feel it.
and so like we have like our rules of like, I message him before, I message him when the client arrives, and I message him afterwards. I always ask like, what do you need after the session? We make sure that we really connect and come back together, but also having the conversations. And then for me as well, we've been with like other women, like me feeling threatened by them, so he's always like checking in with me. And if like anything feels sticky or weird, when we're like at parties and stuff, if one of us says like, no, I don't like it, or I feel weird, we completely stop.
Even if you're not actually acting on the open relationship and you're not dating separately, is to be able to have these conversations and love from a place of safety and security, and love from a place of actual love rather than loving from fear of abandonment. How do you approach an open relationship with your partner?
Being soft about it, not going in and going like, oh, I want a threesome, are you all right with that?
Yeah.
Being like very like, can we have a conversation? I want to speak to you about something. I really recommend that people have check-ins every week, like same time every week, going soft and gentle about it, and also saying to the other person like, I'm not saying this because I don't love you anymore. I'm saying this because I just want a bit of fun. I want to try it. I might not enjoy it. We might not enjoy it. We need to have like boundaries, rules, and like radical communication. So I would definitely recommend like saying like we can get a poly coach to like help us through it. And also like we both have therapists ourselves. Like I would highly recommend people getting a therapist. And it doesn't mean that you're broken or that you need fixing. It's just that you're able to speak to someone who is sort of like impartial and they can like help you unpick things. But I'd just say going like soft and slow and making sure that your partner is seen and heard, and not rushing into it. Someone said, like a relationship coach, that one thing that they do is that when they come in from like a day out of work, they say to each other how much energy they've got. So if one person's like, oh, I've got about 30%, I'm absolutely shattered, it's been a horrendous day at work. The other person's like, well, I've got about 50, so I can like hold you for the evening. Like, what do you need? But if the other person is like, well, I'm also like at 30, like, and then they have a conversation and they go, well, how do we navigate this? So we know that we're both there for one another. Do we need space? Do we have our own time? Do we need to go and have a bath? Do you know what I mean? Or do we come together and really hold each other and just like mong out watching the TV?
Yeah, I think really taking the time to understand what your own motivation is and what is it that you want out of it, or what you feel like you would like to add to your relationship, and really exploring that on a deep personal level, and so you can understand why it's there. And then be able to really take your time personally with yourself before you even table it with your partner.